All right, before we dive in, the folks at 3DC asked me to read this thing behind me. So here we go. Human-made, built in Unreal Engine. Voice by AI, story by us. Help us go 100% human. Human-made? Yeah, obviously. I'm here working. Could have been home watching a movie. Built in Unreal Engine. Isn't that for making games? And this voice by AI? Rude. I find my voice quite charming, thank you. Whatever that even means. Story by us? Yeah, I'll give them that. I improvise half the script anyway, and help us go 100% human. Not sure if that's a promise or a threat.
Wait, aren't we already human? I have emotions.
And I have bills to pay. Anyway, support the channel, like comment, share, or write our name on a billboard or something. Help 3DC grow, because if we depend on the big studios, this whole team's out of a job. And now let's get to work. Or I'm not even getting coffee today. All right, let's get to it. Hey you Souls-like fan, have you heard of the First Berserker, Khazan? Well, buckle up. This game hasn't even officially launched yet and critics are already getting wrecked by demons and screaming for help. But the real question is this game actually good? Or just another painful Dark Souls wannabe? Today, we're diving into a medieval beatdown featuring a possessed warrior and a sword with an eye. Yes, an eye. So hit that like button, sit tight, because here comes a deep dive into the combat, lore, gameplay, and frustration. Lots of frustration. Hey everyone! It's your boy Frog Frank, the frog who plays, reviews, and sometimes smashes his controller against the wall. Today we're talking about the First Berserker, Khazan, a Souls-like that's making people cry on Reddit, sweat through their controllers, and curse the devs. No joke, folks. The game is so hard that even the IGN reviewer almost gave up. But somehow, he liked that. Let's dive into this beautiful nightmare together.
Frog, do you actually enjoy suffering?
Depends. If the game's good, I'll suffer with a smile. Let's find out if this one's worth it. The First Berserker. Khazan is an action RPG developed by South Korean studio Neople and published by Nexon. The official release is coming up on March 27, 2025 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X. And guess what? Reviews are already up on Metacritic. 8100 on PS5 with 19 reviews, 80 on PC with 18, and similar scores on Xbox. Critics are loving the combat and the crazy boss fights. But when it comes to level design, let's just say it could use some love. All right, folks, the game's title kind of says it all, right? The First Berserker, Khazan. This is rage, blood, and screaming all packed into one. But behind all that chaos, there's actually a storyline that's, let's call it an imperial drama with a side of demonic possession. So here's the deal. Our main dude, General Khazan, was a legendary war hero. Think Homelander in medieval armor. But then, bam! He gets accused of treason by the Empire, and they cut the tendons in both his arms. Yeah, that's how this game kicks off. Brutal! They exile him, and then, because that wasn't enough, he gets possessed by this entity called the Blade Phantom. And let me tell you, this ghost ain't here for a nice walk in the forest. It wants chaos. It wants carnage. Now, Khazan's on this wild revenge trip. Possessed, pissed off, and ready to wreck everything. The world is dark, gothic, and full of people who are either sad, dirty, or trying to kill you. The story starts strong with a cool setup. But after that, it kind of falls apart. Side characters come and go like background extras, and the plot doesn't really deepen. It's like someone forgot to finish writing the script. The potential? Oh, it was there. But the delivery? Let's just say it needed a few more rewrites. All right, now it gets real. Because listen up, the First Berserker. Khazan is not for casual players. This thing is a Souls-like cranked up to 11. And if you thought Elden Ring was hard, oh boy, you better sit down before you fall over. The game gives you 3 weapon styles: greatsword, spear, and dual blades. I went with the dual blades because I like feeling like the Tasmanian devil on a battlefield. Each weapon plays completely differently, with its own set of unique skills and a personal talent tree. But if you want to switch weapons mid-game, good luck, buddy. It's anything but easy. Changing your build feels like writing a thesis on game mechanics. And the bosses? Holy moly! One's like a demonic goat on steroids, and another is a whole rage-fueled ghost army stuffed inside a suit of armor. You're getting punched, burned, screamed at, and slapped all at once. And worst of all, there's no grind and destroy cheese like in classic Souls games. Here, if you don't learn the boss patterns, you die. Plain and simple.
And dying. Oh yeah, you'll do a lot of that.
All right, let's set the record straight. It's not all doom and despair. The First Berserker, Khazan actually has some pretty awesome stuff going on. Visuals? Top-notch. The game uses this sort of cel-shaded, dark anime vibe with loads of detail. The particles, effects, environments, it all looks great. The art direction hits hard. It's like playing a bloody anime with a suffering filter. And the PS5 DualSense vibrates like it's in pain with you. The combat system is addictive. Every well-placed hit is like a little piece of soul repair, and the game even throws you a bone. Every time you die to a boss, you earn more lacrima, the game's upgrade currency. It's basically a congrats you died. Here's a cookie. Now, what doesn't land? The level design. It's that bland maze-style layout where you're constantly thinking, didn't I just walk through here? You'll get that deja vu feeling like 40 times. And the story, like I said before, not gripping. You'll keep going purely out of stubbornness and love for hardcore gameplay. Oh, and just so it's clear, the game is developed by Neople and published by Nexon. It's officially launching March 27, 2025 for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. And on Metacritic, it's sitting at a solid 8100 across all platforms. So yeah, people are liking it, but in that I'm not sure if I love this or want to cry in the shower kind of way. Do you think Khazan will break free from the spirit's control or become the new king of the underworld? There's real potential here for some deep, heavy lore, but for now, they're keeping it kind of light. If they really dive into that internal conflict, this could turn into one unforgettable Soulslike. So that's it, folks. The First Berserker, Khazan is tough, it's brutal, and yep, it's gonna make you yell at your screen. But if you're into a real challenge, epic fights, and bosses that punch your soul, this nightmare might be worth it. Critics are liking it, sure, but the real battle begins the second you hit new game.
So what do you think? Will Khazan join the Hall of Legendary Soulslikes, or is it just another painful wannabe? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you enjoyed the review, and subscribe to the channel, because we've got a lot more crazy games coming your way. All right, folks, you dropped a ton of comments, and yep, we read them all. Now it's time to answer some of your questions, react to your theories, and chat with you face-to-face, well, screen to screen. Let's do this. We got everything. Questions, shout-outs, wild guesses, just the way we like it. So buckle up. This next part is all about you. Okay, Frank, we've got a strong take here. Air Dr. Brian Oblivion 82 says, there is only one woman who could have been the Joker, Kate Blanchett, but the Joker should be used sparingly. It gets a bit old banging the same old drum. And Bella Ramsey? No. In fact, I don't really think Bella Ramsey needs to get any more roles. She creeps me out. Well, that escalated quickly. What do you think, Frank? Kate Blanchett in purple and green? Can you picture it? And what about using the Joker less or recasting altogether?
Whoa, strong take. I get the Joker fatigue. He's shown up so many times, even I'm tired of him. Now, when it comes to playing the Joker, I'm on the side that prefers someone who reflects the spirit of the comics. Doesn't have to be a perfect copy, but that chaotic, unpredictable energy has to be there. And that's tough for any actor. For a woman, it's an even bigger challenge, because the Joker's identity is built on decades of very specific traits. So yeah, it's risky, not just for the casting team, but for the actor who takes it on too.
All right, Frank, we've got a double feature here from our attack of the copyright bots. First, they said, won't happen though. Come on, you really think they do this after the Joker 2 debacle? And then followed it up with, literally nothing surprises me anymore. Well, sounds like someone's been burned by the multiverse one too many times. What do you think, Frank?
Dude, I feel you. After Joker 2, every twist feels like shock marketing. But the funny part? Because nothing surprises us anymore, studios sometimes go even wilder. just to try and surprise us again. And won't happen? Yeah, I have my doubts too. But with DC the way it is, I've learned to never say never. If someone told me Alfred would be Batman in 2026, I'd just ask, which universe?
Wait. Alfred as Batman? I'd actually watch that. Frank, this one sparked a mini debate. As Scott Junkie 6825 said, they said the same thing about Michael Keaton. If she is, quit making assumptions. I knew Keaton would be good as Batman after he appeared on Carson. He clearly took the character seriously. You never know, she might do the same. Then Mr. Macman13 jumped in and said, she won't. To which a Scott Junkie 6825 calmly replied, again, that's what everyone said about Keaton. Okay, Frog, classic case of cautious optimism versus instant doubt. Where do you stand?
I love when we get a good debate like this. And Scott makes a strong point. Michael Keaton was doubted hard, and yet he became one of the most iconic Batmans ever. But really, this applies to any actor. Some of them read the script and don't realize how big the role can become. They try to reinvent too much, drift from the roots of the character, and forget why people love these stories in the first place. Robert Downey Jr., he got it. He didn't try to rewrite Iron Man, he became him. And the fans, they felt it. Now playing the Joker, that's a tough one. It takes total commitment. We won't know if it works until, or if, it happens. But I always leave room for the unexpected. Keaton already proved us wrong once, didn't he?
So, next time you get offered a role, Frank, please read the comics first. Frank, before we dive into the heavy stuff, let's appreciate this. Sunayu D'Agostino said, awesome work, guys, bringing these news hot from the oven. Well done. Fresh out of the frog oven. Love it. Now for a real thinker. Same user writes, I don't know what to think about DC's new absolute all-in face. I mean, is this just temporary, or are they really making all these changes for new audiences? If it's the latter, there could be lots of opportunities for Bella to join the new Batman, but not as the Joker. That would challenge too many things right now. Bella's performance in The Last of Us has been questioned in some circles, and with Season 2 coming, comparisons are increasing. I think she'll be very careful about which character she takes from now on, especially those tied to beloved franchises. I loved The Last of Us Part 1 and thought the show was incredible. Let's wait and see how Part 2 turns out. Okay, Frog, Sunayu brought the full context here. What's your take?
This is the kind of comment that really makes us think. First of all, thank you, Sunayu. We're so glad the Frog Oven is delivering hot content. Now, about DC. I'm also wondering if this bold new direction is here to stay or just another reboot. Feels like they're throwing ideas out and seeing what sticks. And about Bella, yeah, it's a tough spot. When an actor steps into a beloved franchise, they carry the fans' love and expectations. One wrong move, and it explodes online. I agree. Maybe the Joker isn't the right role for her. It's just too symbolic, too iconic. There are other villains, or even new characters, that could let her shine without stepping into such a volatile spotlight. Well, if DC is really all in, maybe it's time they go smart in too.
All right, Frank, here's a sharp one from Phila Fernandez 2649. If they're going for the Thomas Wayne Batman story, yes, it makes sense. Ooh, Flashpoint vibes. You love this stuff. Go on, Frog.
You know what? That's a really smart angle. For those who don't know, Thomas Wayne as Batman comes from the legendary Flashpoint storyline, written by Jeff Johns and released in 2011. It flipped everything. Instead of Bruce surviving the alley scene, Bruce dies, and Thomas becomes a much darker, brutal Batman. Martha becomes the Joker. Yeah, that dark. If DC is hinting at this version, then a Joker twist could technically make sense. But here's the thing. I think they're betting more on continuing the Superman reboot and slowly rebuilding the universe around him, like a soft reset Justice League. It wouldn't surprise me if the Thomas Wayne arc came back later, maybe as a limited series on Netflix or Max just to test the waters. It's risky. But hey, Thomas Wayne in live action? I'd watch the heck out of that.
Inside the Jackal's Head says, I can see this becoming such an issue they could scrap it and do like they did with Batgirl. Yikes. You're really going there, huh?
Hey, after Batgirl, I believe anything's possible. A finished movie tossed in the vault like it never existed? That's next-level multiverse erasing. But you're right, it all depends on how the public reacts. If things get too chaotic, studios get cold feet real fast. Let's just hope this one gets to see the light of day. And maybe even surprise us.
Ooh, Frank, look who's back. Reed Richards 2 said, "Hi, Frank. Yeah, maybe you're right, mate. I hope he in the movie works. But he doesn't look like the smartest man on the planet, right? Congrats on your great channel. It's frogging awesome." Did you hear that, Frank? He said our channel is frogging awesome. That's not just a compliment. That's a full-on standing ovation. This one's for you.
Reed Richards 2, my man. You've been with us since the early days, and we see you. And hey, I agree. Pedro might not look like the smartest man alive, but let's give him a shot to surprise us. I mean, I don't look like a talk show host either, and yet, here we are. Seriously though, thank you for the support. Comments like yours? They keep this frog hopping. And hey, you watching right now? Be like Reed. Jump in, leave a comment, and maybe we'll read yours next. See ya!